Most valuable €5 cent coins value in market. First up, the 2008 €5 coin is the most valuable, what very fine means, and how much it could be worth in today's market when converted to US dollars. The euro coin we're focusing on is one of the better-known collector issues from France, known as the low-mintage coin. It was minted in 2008 as part of a commemorative series. Unlike regular euro coins used in daily transactions, this one was made primarily for collectors. It has a face value of €5, but is struck in silver with a fineness of 500, meaning it contains 50% silver. The coin weighs about 10 grams and measures 27 millimeters in diameter. Because of its silver composition and limited mintage, it tends to hold a higher value than ordinary euro coins, though it's not considered extremely rare. The condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its worth. When we say a coin is in very fine condition, or VF for short, it means the coin shows moderate wear but retains most of its design details. The higher parts of the design might appear slightly smooth, yet all the major features like the lettering, dates, and symbols are still clear. In short, a very fine coin has been handled but still looks sharp and collectible. So, how much is a 2008 €5 low-mintage coin in very fine condition today? Based on current collector price guides and online auction data, most examples of this coin in VF condition sell for around $130,000. This range depends on the coin's overall eye appeal, market demand, and whether it comes with its original packaging or certificate of authenticity. If the coin is in slightly better condition, say extremely fine or uncirculated, it could reach up to $180,000. Proof versions or coins with special finishes might bring even more, but those are typically not categorized as very fine since they were never meant to circulate. The intrinsic metal value of the coin also contributes a small part to its overall worth. Because it contains roughly 5 grams of silver, the melt value alone would be just a few dollars at today's silver prices. However, collectors value the design, mint quality, and limited production more than the silver itself. If you happen to own a 2008 €5 coin, it's worth inspecting closely. Look for signs of unusual mint marks, errors, or packaging that could increase its desirability. Having it professionally graded by a service such as NGC or PCGS could also give you a more precise idea of its market value.
Next up, the Spanish €5 coin from the year 2000 is part of a special commemorative series rather than regular circulating euro currency. Remember, Spain officially adopted the euro in 2002, so any Spanish coin dated before that year is not a circulation euro coin, but rather a collector's issue, often minted to celebrate the introduction of the new currency or special historical events. These coins were sold directly to collectors by the Spanish Royal Mint, Real Casa de la Moneda, and typically struck in silver with limited mintage numbers, which gives them some collector value today. The 2000 Spanish €5 coin is made of sterling silver, 0.925 fineness, and weighs around 13.5 grams, with a diameter of approximately 33 millimeters. The obverse of the coin generally features the effigy of King Juan Carlos I, who was Spain's reigning monarch at the time, along with the text Juan Carlos I, Rey de España, and the year of issue. The reverse design varies depending on the specific theme of the coin. Many €5 commemorative coins from Spain during that period depicted historical events, Spanish architecture, or cultural symbols related to the upcoming adoption of the euro. The craftsmanship of these coins is usually of high quality, especially in proof or uncirculated editions. However, since your coin is described as being in fine condition with some scratches, its value will be lower than mint or proof examples. In coin grading terms, fine means the coin shows considerable wear from circulation or handling. Most of the major details are still visible, but some parts of the design are worn smooth and the overall appearance lacks the sharp definition of higher grades, like very fine or extremely fine. Scratches and marks further reduce its desirability among serious collectors, but it still retains some collectible and silver value. In today's market, the value of a 2000 Spanish 5 euro coin in fine condition typically ranges from about 8 to 18 US dollars, depending on the exact design, mintage numbers, and current silver prices. The silver content alone, given the weight and fineness, accounts for roughly 200,000 US dollars of its worth based on current metal prices. If the coin has an attractive design or comes from a particularly limited issue, collectors might be willing to pay a small premium. On the other hand, if it shows deep scratches or tarnishing, its price could fall closer to the silver melt. To get a more precise estimate, it's always helpful to check the coin's catalog reference number, such as those listed on Numista or NGC World Coin price guides, and compare it with recent auction results. Coins from Spain's early Euro commemorative series often fluctuate in value depending on collector interest and overall market trends. In conclusion, while the 2000 Spain 5 euro coin with scratches and fine condition wear isn't extremely rare, it still represents a small piece of numismatic history from Spain's transition to the euro. Its current market value lies between 260,000 US dollars, mostly depending on condition and demand. It's a nice addition to a collection of European commemorative coins, and even with a few scratches, it tells the story of a moment when Spain prepared to join a new monetary era. If you own one, keep it safe, as its modest collector and silver value may continue to rise slowly over time.
Next up, the 5 euro cent coin is part of the standard euro currency system, introduced in 2002 and used across the Eurozone. The coin is made primarily from copper-plated steel, giving it its distinct reddish color. It weighs 3.92 grams, has a diameter of 21.25 millimeters, and features a smooth edge with a fine groove around its perimeter. On one side, you'll find the common European map design, showing the countries of the European Union, while the other side varies depending on the country that issued it. Each Eurozone nation has its own unique national design, which is what makes these coins so interesting to collectors. For the 2018 issue, many countries, including Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and others, produce their own 5-cent coins. The value of a 2018 5 euro cent coin depends largely on where it was minted and whether there were any low mintage or error coins released that year. Some countries produce tens of millions of these coins, making them quite common. Others, however, issued smaller mintages or had minor die variations, which can make their coins slightly more collectible. Now, let's talk about condition. The phrase extra fine, often abbreviated as XF or EF in numismatic terms, describes a coin that has seen light circulation but retains nearly all of its details. The coin might show some light wear on the highest parts of the design, but the lettering, numbers, and fine lines remain clear and crisp. The color should still have a decent luster, although a slight dulling or toning may be visible from handling or age. For your 2018 5 euro cent coin with a few scratches, those marks will have a minor impact on value. While extra fine condition is a solid grade, noticeable scratches can slightly reduce collector appeal since they affect the coin's surface quality. In general, most 2018 5 euro cent coins remain fairly common. Their collector value in extra fine condition is usually quite modest, often only a bit above face value. In Europe, such coins typically trade for around 40 cents, depending on the country of origin and overall eye appeal. When converted to US dollars, that equates to roughly 40 cents. However, if the coin comes from a country that produced fewer 5-cent pieces in 2018, or if it has a minting error, such as a double strike, die crack, or misaligned design, its value could rise significantly, sometimes reaching a few dollars among collectors. It's worth mentioning that coins like this often gain more historical or educational value than financial worth. Collectors enjoy them because they tell the story of modern European currency and the countries that make up the Eurozone. For beginners in coin collecting, a 2018 5 euro cent in extra fine condition is a good example of how condition grading works and how small differences can matter when building a complete set. If you have a 2018 5 cent coin, examine it under good lighting. Look for any unusual mint marks. Letters like A, D, F, G, or J on German coins indicate different mints, while other countries use symbols or small letters. Check also for minting errors or design irregularities, as those can raise collector interest. Even with some scratches, your coin can still be a nice addition to a modern euro collection, especially if it's kept in a protective holder to prevent further wear. So, to sum it up, a 2018 5 cent coin in extra fine condition with a few scratches usually holds a small but real collectible value. In today's market, that value typically ranges between 10 and 50 US cents, though rare versions or minting errors could sell for more. While it might not make you rich, it's a charming reminder that even the smallest coins can carry stories, craftsmanship, and history worth preserving. Keep it safe, and who knows, someday it might become a tiny piece of numismatic history that collectors continue to appreciate.
Next up, the 5 cent coin is one of the most common denominations in the euro currency system. It is used across all Eurozone countries and features a copper-plated steel composition that gives it its distinct reddish tone. The coin weighs 3.92 grams, has a diameter of 21.25 millimeters, and features a smooth edge. The common side of the coin, designed by Luc Lullix, displays a globe showing Europe in relation to Africa and Asia, symbolizing unity within the European Union. The reverse side changes depending on the issuing country, with each nation having its own unique design or emblem. In 2010, millions of 5 cent coins were minted by several European countries, including Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and others. Because the mintage numbers were so high, the 2010 5 cent is not considered rare in general circulation. However, minor differences like mint marks, production errors, or low mintage varieties from smaller countries, such as Malta, Cyprus, or Slovenia, can make certain pieces more desirable to collectors. Now, let's talk about condition. The coin you have is described as being in dirty condition with some scratches. In numismatic grading, this would place it well below very fine. Most likely, it would be considered in good or about good condition. A dirty coin usually means it has been exposed to air, moisture, or even soil, causing oxidation and discoloration. Scratches occur when the coin rubs against hard surfaces or other coins during circulation. Both factors reduce collector appeal significantly. Collectors often clean coins to restore their shine, but this is generally discouraged in the numismatic world. Cleaning a coin can damage its original surface and make it less valuable, even if it looks brighter afterward. Instead, experts recommend leaving the coin in its natural state, especially if you plan to show it to a coin dealer or have it graded professionally. In terms of market value, a circulated and scratched 2010 5 cent coin does not hold much premium above its face value. Its nominal worth is 0.05 euros, which converts to roughly 0.05 US dollars, about 5 cents. However, if the coin has an error, such as a misstrike, off-center design, or missing planing, it could be worth a few dollars to specialized collectors. Some rare minting mistakes have sold for as much $360,000, depending on their uniqueness and condition. But these are exceptions, not the rule. If you're unsure whether your coin might be special, you can check for unusual features like double lettering, incorrect metal color, or misaligned edges. Comparing it to a normal 5 cent coin from the same country can help you spot differences. You can also look up the specific 2010 issue from your coin's country on websites like Numista or NGC to check if any rare variants exist. Even though a dirty and scratched 2010 5 cent coin won't make you rich, it still holds historical and sentimental value. Every coin tells a part of Europe's shared monetary history, circulating through countless hands and countries. Cleaning it gently with a soft cloth for preservation, not polishing, is a good way to maintain it as part of your collection. In summary, the 2010 5 cent coin in dirty and scratch condition is worth its face value of around 5 cents in the United States, unless it has an error or comes from a low mintage issue. Its real worth lies in the story it carries, a small piece of modern European history.
Sometimes carries surprising value. Today, we're going to explore what these coins are really worth in today's market, what makes some of them special, and why collectors are willing to pay more than face value for a piece that originally was worth only 5 cents. When the euro was introduced, coins dated 1999 were among the very first to be struck, even though they did not officially enter circulation until 2002. Each euro coin has a common reverse side showing the globe and the value, but the front of the coin depends on the country that issued it. The 5-cent coin is made of copper-plated steel, weighs just under 4 grams, and is about 21 millimeters across. At first glance, it looks like a coin you might ignore, but its story is what makes collectors pay attention. In general, the majority of 1999 5-cent coins are very common. They were minted in large quantities by countries like France, Spain, and others that adopted the euro. Most examples that you find in circulation today are worth only face value. If you have one in average circulated shape, you should not expect it to sell for more than $1 or $2 at best. However, coin collectors always search for exceptions, and exceptions are what bring real money. The first thing that can increase the value of a coin is its condition. Collectors prize coins that have sharp details, strong luster, and little wear. In fine condition, a 1999 5-cent coin might bring only a modest premium, often $100,000. A coin in near uncirculated or mint state, however, could reach $150,000. These prices are not life-changing, but they are significantly more than the coin's face value and prove how condition matters. But here's where things get exciting. Some coins struck in 1999 show striking errors, especially certain French issues featuring the image of Mariana. A small number of these coins were produced with distortions or misstrikes, creating what collectors call error coins. Reports in European media describe these rare examples selling for hundreds of euros, with some valued as high as 800. In US dollars, that means well over $850 for a single coin that originally was worth just 5 cents. That is the kind of discovery every coin collector dreams about. If you think you may have one of these coins, the best thing to do is examine it carefully. Look at the portrait for signs of distortion, check the edges for doubling or misalignment, and compare your coin to reliable images of known errors. If it looks unusual, you may want to have it evaluated by a professional grading service. On the other hand, if your coin is just a normal 1999 5-cent in fine condition, its market value today is modest, only $1,000.
Next up, the 2017 5-euro-cent coin in very fine condition. At first glance, it's just a simple copper-plated steel coin worth only 5 euro cents in everyday spending. But as with all coins, the real story comes when you consider the factors that drive collector value: rarity, condition, and unique characteristics like errors or unusual mint marks. If you've come across one of these coins in your change or already have one in your collection, you might be wondering how much it could be worth today in US dollars. Let's break it down in simple terms. When collectors talk about coins being in very fine condition, they mean the piece has clearly been used in circulation, but the design details are still strong. You'll see some wear on the high points of the coin, but the numbers, letters, and main design elements remain clear and attractive. Very fine sits above fine, but below extremely fine or uncirculated. For many Eurocent coins, the difference between fine and very fine can make a real impact on the selling price, because collectors prefer sharper detail even in circulated pieces. Now, what about actual market value? The truth is, most 2017 5-euro-cent coins are extremely common and generally sell for only a modest premium. On average, in very fine condition, you might expect a value somewhere between $2,000 in US dollars, which is already a nice jump from face value. However, there are some standout cases that show why collectors pay attention to small details. For example, a 2017 Belgian 5-euro-cent was listed for around $1,080, far above its base value. The reason in that case most likely comes down to either rarity of mintage or collector demand for Belgian issues from that year.
On another site, a Dutch 2017 5 euro cent was offered for about $7 in circulated condition, which shows the more common market range. So the reality is that while some coins reach very high asking prices, the majority will trade at more moderate levels. What could make your coin more valuable than average? The biggest factor is whether it carries a mint error. Things like double strikes, off-center minting, or other noticeable flaws can send values much higher, even into the hundreds of dollars if the error is dramatic. Another factor is the specific country that issued it, because each Eurozone country produces its own design, and some mintages are smaller than others. Collectors also pay close attention to eye appeal. So even within the very fine grade, a coin with nice, even color and clear details will often attract more bidders. If you suspect you have one of these coins, the best step is to get it checked by a professional coin dealer or submit it to a grading service. Clear photographs shared with collector groups can also help identify whether it's a common piece or something special. Just remember that prices online often reflect asking prices rather than final sale values, so treat high listings with caution. Still, there's no denying that a little 5 euro cent from 2017 can be worth far more than pocket change when the right factors line up. So, the bottom line, a regular, very fine 2017 5 euro cent will probably bring you between $2,500, but rare errors or less common mint issues could fetch anywhere from $3,000 or even more. It may not make you rich, but it's definitely worth checking your coins closely, because you never know what treasure might be hiding in your change.
Next up, the 5 euro cent coin is one of the smallest denominations in the euro system. It's made of copper-plated steel, weighs just under 4 grams, and is used across the Eurozone. While most of these coins are produced in huge numbers and circulate with almost no collector value, some years and some special versions stand out. Rarity, condition, and unusual features are what separate an ordinary pocket coin from a collectible item worth real money. And when we look at 2019, a few examples begin to shine. One of the most notable is the 2019 Netherlands 5 euro cent coin, specifically the proof version. Unlike ordinary coins made for circulation, proof coins are struck with special dies and polished blanks, giving them a mirror-like finish and much sharper details. They're usually produced in small quantities for collectors rather than for general use. In 2019, the Netherlands issued only about 3,000 proof 5-cent coins. That number is incredibly low, especially for such a small denomination. Because of that scarcity, these coins are classified as extremely rare and highly sought after by Euro coin collectors. Now, what does that mean in terms of value? Let's look at the market. On platforms like eBay, you can find listings where sellers are asking around $250 for rare 2019 5 euro cent coins. By comparison, a regular 2019 German 5-cent coin might sell for less than $1, often just a few cents above face value. This huge gap tells us how much rarity and condition matter. A coin that most people overlook could be worth hundreds if it belongs to the right category. So how high can the price realistically go? For a rare proof coin in perfect condition, especially if it has been graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC, the value could reasonably reach $300 to $500, maybe more in the right auction with strong collector interest. But remember, not every 2019 5-cent coin is valuable. The vast majority are worth only face value. What makes the difference is whether the coin is part of a limited proof issue, whether it has an unusual minting error, or whether it's in flawless mint state. If you're curious whether you might have a valuable one, here are some quick tips. First, check the origin of the coin and see if it belongs to a proof set or special issue. Second, look up the mintage numbers online. If they're low, the coin has potential. Third, inspect the condition. Coins that are uncirculated and without scratches always bring higher prices. Fourth, watch out for minting errors like off-center strikes or unusual misprints, as these can be very collectible. And finally, don't just rely on what sellers are asking. Check completed sales to see what collectors are actually paying. So there you have it. A simple 2019 5 euro cent coin could be worth up to hundreds of dollars, but only under the right circumstances. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more coin stories, and share in the comments if you've ever come across a euro coin that surprised you with its value. Thanks for watching, and keep your eyes open. You never know what treasures might be hiding in your change.
Next up, the 5-euro-cent coin is a small copper-plated steel coin weighing just under 4 grams and measuring just over 21 millimeters in diameter. It's part of the standard euro series used across all Eurozone countries. The reverse side is the same everywhere, showing the globe and the denomination. But the obverse side, the national side, changes depending on the country that issued it. That's where a lot of the collector interest comes in. In 2010, Euro countries continued to strike millions of these coins for everyday use. For that reason, most examples are extremely common and usually don't fetch more than face value. However, condition, minting errors, and country of issue can make a difference. An example in uncirculated or mint state could attract more attention, while coins that come from countries with lower mintages are always more desirable. Now, in your case, we're looking at a 2010 5-cent that's in extremely fine condition with a few scratches. Extremely fine means the coin has circulated, but the details are still sharp, with most of the design visible and no heavy wear. Light scratches, though, do lower its appeal to serious collectors. That's because collectors are generally willing to pay premiums only for coins in uncirculated or proof condition, where the coin still has its original mint luster. So what kind of value are we talking about here? For most 2010 5-cent coins in extremely fine condition, the price is usually just a little above face value, something like to a plastic 2.